We're going to need it all. We're going to need every bit of it. Let me give you a reference point. We are importing 12 million barrels of oil a day, using 21 million barrels. Okay, 21 million is 25% of all the oil produced in the world every day. 85 million barrels is what we produce every day, and we're using 21 million barrels, 25%. We have 4% of the population, and we only have 3% of the reserves of oil in the world. Somebody, you know, you look at that and say, oh my gosh, we're kind of out of step with the rest of the world here. Well, we're more highly developed, is what we say. Out of 1,000 people in America, 750 cars. China, out of 1,000 people, 44 cars. And the world average, out of 1,000 people, is 120 cars. So we are car nuts. We are loaded with cars, and we use a lot of transportation fuel. When you list the assets you have to work with, you only have, when you get down, you can go to wind, solar, geothermal, and nuclear. I'm for all of them, every one of them. But the only one that you've got oil, of course, that will work for us to our advantage. But the only one that you have in abundance that will do the job is natural gas. It is the only one. The way, I hate mandates, but I'm ready to think of one at this point that I would like to see the president in the new administration would quickly say that any cars purchased by the government would be natural gas vehicles. That would send a message to Detroit, gear up, because this is going to happen. When you saw President Bush say that ethanol was going to work, I could not believe how quick those ethanol plants, every one of you know what I mean, you're all shaking your head yes, because it surprised all of us that, man, they were coming up everywhere. And people were growing corn that had never grown corn in their lives, you know. I mean, it was crazy the way the thing was going. And then all at once, I noticed first the ones that complained were the Mexicans, that their tortillas had gone up because we were doing ethanol. Anyway, and then, you know, then that triggered that the commodity, the food commodities had gone off scale because of ethanol. So it became then, we were trying to shut it all down. Well, we don't have to do that with natural gas. That's not the way it's going to work. But here, that you can say the first thing you do is notify Detroit by saying we're going to buy natural gas vehicles for the government. That'll send them a message. General Motors does 19 cars on natural gas, none in the United States. How do you like that? 19. South America and Europe, yes, they know how to make them. The whole thing, it works. There's only one in the United States that's manufactured, is the Honda Civic GX. I said that a while ago. I said, there's only one, and I said that I have it. And who I was talking to said, you've got the only one? I said, no, it's the only one they make. So anyway, I have it, and I fuel it at home off my natural gas line. And my wife said, be sure and make this point, because it's a good point. Somebody says, well, is it safe? Is natural gas safe in your car? And then I say, well, you use gasoline. They said, sure. And I said, but you use natural gas in your home? And they said, yeah, I do use natural gas in my home. I said, well, switch out the natural gas in your home to your car and put the gasoline in your home. And they said, gasoline in my home? You think I'm crazy? Makes the point. So, but anyway, the natural gas would go to the vehicles, federal vehicles, which is not many cars, that's 200,000. But the second tier is that 70% of, 70% of all the oil we use every day in America goes to transportation. Okay, now, 30% of the oil used, gasoline, diesel, that goes to the movement of goods. We're talking about trucks. So if, say, overnight, we went to natural gas for trucks in America, we would cut our dependency by 30%. That's a big number. I went to the president and I said, this was 6 weeks ago, and I said, you have a horrible energy legacy. And I said, I can tell you how to fix it. And so I went through the whole deal with he and Sam Bodman and 4 DOE officials. They asked a lot of questions and all. But I said, if, for instance, you took wind, and I showed them their own report they did in April of '07, where you can do 20% of your power generation with wind. Well, that's what you have for natural gas. So let's just say that you did 20% power generation with wind and took the 20% that you're using for power generation with natural gas and moved the natural gas over to transportation fuel. It's kind of a cute way to do it. It won't work this way because you'll still have power generation some on natural gas, but you have plenty of natural gas, and I wanted to make a point. So I said, do 20%, take the 20%, move it over to transportation fuel, the natural gas. It will reduce your imports by 38%. And I said, you guys have never seen a number that big, 38%. They agreed they had that is a number, a huge number. In a meeting with Senator Obama 2 weeks ago, we were talking, and I had met with McCain 2 days before. And I start the meetings this way. I say, look, I'm the general, you're the commander-in-chief. You should see the looks on their faces. It's kind of funny, you know. I say, oh, that got their attention. Then I salute. No, I don't salute. But I said, I've got the problem, and I've got the solution. And I will share both of them with you here, and you interrupt me when you want me to give you more information or you question what I'm saying. And the meetings went off very well, and I knew McCain, of course, better than I didn't know Obama at all. But he got relaxed as we went on and realized that this guy's serious about what he's talking about, and he knows the subject, and he's willing to share with us, and this has nothing to do with politics. And so, anyway, and I said finally to Senator Obama, I said, you know, you're real proud of the fact that you get up and say, I'm going to have 1 million plug-in hybrids in 10 years. And he said, I do say that. I said, I know it. I've heard you say it 3 times now. And he says, I do say it, and I'm going to do it too. And I said, Senator, if we looked out that window and there were 1 million cars out there, all of them plug-in hybrids, it'd be a hell of a bunch of cars. I said, yeah. And I said, know this though. There are 250 million vehicles in America. He looked at me and said, 250? He said, that million wouldn't be that many. No, sir. I said, you've got to think huge, big. This thing is so bad, what we've done to ourselves. We are importing and so dependent. You've got to do something big, really big. You got to think 100 million, not 1 million. Now, to give you one last one, and I'll take your questions, because I've talked a long time. How long have I talked, man? Too long?